Good morning, Kabroda crew. Welcome back to our live stream. Hopefully, y'all are doing well today. Had a nice little bit of an up move yesterday. If you are watching it, then you should have gotten a nice trade. Took a couple of little up moves here on the nice up move here. Overall, pretty good day. Hit the first target for sure. And then if you are watching it, we all jumped out right here on the cross of the 5-minute 21. Told you to get out. Pretty close to that top there, so should have made some money yesterday if you were trading the battle box. Good day for the battle box system here. Yeah. Hopefully y'all were watching that. We called it on the live, or we were talking about it on the live yesterday. Didn't get quite as high as we were thinking it would, but we are seeing a little bit of a pullback here, some flags forming, so we'll see if we can get a little bit of a pop out of this or not. If we do get that pop, it'll take us right up to our second target today, just based off of that little flag I just drew. But yeah, we'll have to check out what the battle box has to say, get it started, kind of see where our lines are at today, see what we're even looking at for the running. But yeah, as of right now, just staring at it, looks like we're gonna go up. If you are interested in seeing a detailed breakdown of kind of like what we were thinking yesterday and why we got in or out of the trades, or even just learning a little bit about TA, go ahead and check out our recap. Comes out at 10 o'clock today. We'll have a recap going over all of yesterday's price action and just the battle box in general. So check that out if you're interested in either learning or interested in just seeing what happened yesterday, and maybe even follow us. You want to see what the battle box said about yesterday, check that out. But today we're going to be setting up for today, going over the price action today and what lines we've got on here and where the breakouts are. We'll be figuring that all out here on the live, so make sure you guys are tuned in. We're going to head on to the GPT here and actually get started for today. So if you guys haven't been here before, we got our battle box trading GPT right here. This is the GPT that we use for trading, but it's also a great learning tool. You can use this to kind of teach yourself, because the problem we ran into with a lot of people is that they all teach you on these videos, but then it's kind of like when somebody does the examples at school, they do all the examples for you and you're like, oh, this is so easy, and then you go home and you start doing your homework and you get to one of the questions and you're like, this just makes no sense anymore. Like, the examples they showed don't even fit this problem. So you really need to ask your teacher. That's kind of what we were going after. But the issue is the teacher only works 9 to 5, right? And for most people online, they're trying to teach you how to trade. They just make the videos, so they're not even going to talk to you about it. So that's why we built the battle box. That way you have something to ask about it. We're also here open on the live, so if you are interested, go ahead and just send us a chat on the live and we'll try to answer as best we can. Or on any of our videos, we'll try to get back to you as best we can, like I just said. But yes, the battle box is set up to be able to ask it questions, learn how to trade a little bit better. That's the whole idea of it. It's just to help you learn as you're trying to trade. But yeah, basically the way that we use it for the average day is just kind of setting up some different levels. So we'll go ahead and make today's market review. And it'll ask us for a couple things that it's going to need. Again, if you don't know how to do any of this stuff, you can just go ahead and ask it. We're going to run through it here on the live, though. So we'll start with the macro news schedule here, and then we'll go to getting the chart screenshots, FRVP levels, and then the 30-minute candle last. Just starting with the screenshot of the news because it's just the easiest thing to do and get out of the way first. So you're going to want to open up Google, go to cryptocraft.com. This will be a website, looks just like this. It's kind of the news hub, I guess, for crypto. You can just kind of have your news over here on the left. You can see there's a calendar. You click on today's date, and this will be the news for today. We are actually still in that government shutdown, so anything that's marked with tentative, as it says here, so we actually do have one of those today, are subject to delay or cancellation. For us today, it doesn't really matter. The thing that you want to watch out for on this website is here, this impact here. If you see a yellow, it's not a big deal. Orange is going to be something a little bit more moderate. It could actually have somewhat of an effect on the market. And then red is something that we actually are going to be watching out for. So if I go back to yesterday, you can see we had a red and an orange yesterday. Both of them affected the market somewhat. It kind of depends. Sometimes there is a little bit of TA that kind of goes into it, so you can kind of read it. But typically it's better to kind of stay out. All right, sweet. It just told me that the connection disconnected, so hopefully you guys are catching all of this. But essentially, yeah, with red and orange, watch out for 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after. Basically, though, we're going to go to the 6, and we're just going to take a little screenshot here. So if you're on Windows, it's Windows key Shift and S, and that'll give you this screenshot tool, and you can just go ahead and either take a screenshot of your whole screen, or what I like to do is take a little screenshot of just the news event for today. And I can show you what that looks like right here when I put it into the battle box. It'll essentially just look like this with a little screenshot of the different news events we got for today. After we got that, though, we're going to head on to the actual charts and dig into those. So starting with the screenshots of the different time frames. I'm going to start off with that 4-hour here. The 4-hour is just the easiest to start with. That way you can just kind of move down the line. 4-hour, 1 hour, 15, and 5. And then after you get this open, though, we're going to go ahead and turn off our lines that we have on here. So, and I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these lines here. There we go. Just to make my chart a little bit cleaner. If you don't know how to use the object tree, we do have a video covering it. But just the basics real fast, you can go over here to the right side of your screen. There's a little box here. Click on that. That'll open up the object tree. In here you can access all of your different lines or drawings on your chart. And you can even name them in here and set up folders. So if you want to kind of organize it a little bit more, it's nice and easy. And then you can also hide or show the different lines. So you can see my 24-hour POCs on there now. Close it out, put it back on there, nice and easy. These two lines are right here. We'll just close those out. Those are targets for yesterday. I believe they should still be applicable for today, but we'll have to kind of wait and see, watch it as we go on. But I like to have my chart nice and clean when I'm doing this, so I cleaned it off. Everything is hidden that I want to keep, and all the other stuff's deleted. We'll go ahead and get our stuff kind of zoomed out a little bit, and then we're just going to double click all of the indicators and the chart. If you want to know what indicators we're running the 5 different moving averages. So we got the 200, the 21, 50, 80, and 100, I believe. So if you want to run those, go ahead and open those up. We got, it's CBC 5MAs. You should type that into the indicator thing. You should be able to find it. Below that, we got the MACD. Then next RSI, and then below that is just the stoches. Stoches are really a lower time frame indicator, but we keep them on for all of our different charts here. We're going to go ahead and just get a screenshot though, so we'll kind of zoom out, make sure it looks nice, get a little bit of that history, make sure everything's still autoed, and then we're just going to do Windows key Shift and S and grab that screenshot and throw it into our GPT. And then it's super simple, you just repeat all the steps. So head to the 1 hour, same thing, everything should still be autoed. Just screenshot. And put it into the GPT, and then just move down 15-minute, same thing, screenshot. To the GPT and paste. Alright, so 4 different screenshots on there with our news events. Nice and simple. Next up, we got the FRVP and that 30-minute candle range. So what I like to do before I grab them is type FRVP into here, FRVP levels, and then I'll do the 2 separate ones. So we got the 24-hour one with the volume area high, the POC, and the volume area low. And then we got the morning one, and it has the same different levels, so volume area high, point of control, and volume area low. And then lastly, I'll type in that 30-minute candle with the high and the low. Alright, and then now we can go get all of those, and we'll just paste the levels in here as we get them. So head back to TradingView here. The easiest way to do the FRVP levels is head to that 1 hour. On the 1 hour, it's pretty simple. We're going to go to the left here. You're going to go from the crosshairs down 1, 2, 3, 4. Click over and then go to volume based. So fixed range volume profile. That's what we're looking for. And then we're going to go to 12 UTC. Just 12 UTC to 12 UTC today. So 12 UTC yesterday to 12 UTC today. So that'll be the 5th. Would be yesterday, and then we'll go to 12 UTC. So I'm at UTC -6. So -6 from 12 would be 6. And so we'll just be going to 6 to 6. You can do that in your corresponding time zone. Or you can actually just change your chart to be UTC if you want to as well. Down in the bottom right corner, there's a little there's a time clock basically, and you can see normally it shows like whatever time zone that you're in, but you click on it and then it will open up some settings like this, and at the very top there's UTC, and if you just click that, that'll just be 12 to 12. So it makes it nice and easy, no time changes or anything like that should affect it. But I like to have my set on the my time zones, just so when I look down there it's the same time as it is right now. Makes it nice and simple. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and throw some lines on there. So this is going to be our 24-hour FRVP levels here, the red, the yellow, and blue lines. So we're going to go ahead and turn on our lines, and then we're just going to drag and drop them. If you don't already have these, Alt-J will put a new horizontal ray on here, which is the lines that I'm using here. And then you can just jump into the settings and change the style and add some text, and even change the name of the line in your object tree up here to whatever you would like. But we already have our lines on here, so we're just going to go ahead and use the ones we already made up. Starting with the 24-hour, you're going to just click it and drag it onto that red line. Same thing with the yellow, and same thing with the blue. And these are going to be our 24-hour volume area, FRVP levels. So your volume area high, your POC, and your volume area low. And then from here, it's just real simple. You're just going to double click on, you can either double click on the line, open up the settings, or double click over here on the object tree. Then you're going to head to coordinates and just copy the number right out of here. And then we're going to head back to our GPT and paste it right into the area that we already made. So the volume area low on 24 hour right there. Same thing for POC. Copy it right out of here and paste it. And then volume area low, same thing. And paste. There we go. So we're moving from the 24 hour now to the morning one. It's pretty similar. Instead of going from 12 to 12 though, now we're going to go from 8 to 12, or for my time zone 2 to 6. So we're going to go ahead and go back to our charts here. And on our chart, the level that we drew on here, so the FRVP level here, I'm going to close out my lines here so it doesn't get confusing. You're going to take the back part of it, so the back little blue dot when you hover over it, you're going to click on that and drag it up to 2 o'clock this morning. So 1, 2, and you should already be on 12 o'clock later today, or 6 o'clock, I guess, for me. And then we got our different lines on here. These are going to be our morning levels. So I'll go ahead and turn those on. And boom, here's our pink morning levels. Same thing, just drag and drop. This doesn't have to be exact. What we're basically doing here is marking some of the support and resistance lines that we have on the chart. Basically figuring it out by math and then just marking them. So when we mark them like this, even if they're not exact, your support and resistance zones are going to be a range. So even if you're off by a hair or whatever, it shouldn't matter too much because you're still going to be close enough that it'll be in that range there. So same thing with these ones. Once we got our lines on there, you can actually delete the FRVP tool that we used and take that off your chart if you'd like to, so your chart looks cleaner. And then we're just going to go ahead and get our lines from the morning ones. So we'll grab the volume area high and dump it into our GPT and just move down the list. Just like that. Nice and simple. And then the next thing that we're going to be doing is grabbing that 30-minute candle. So this is super easy too. You're just going to head to the 30-minute, and I'm going to go ahead and unmark my lines. So the chart's clean again. 30-minute though, super simple too. You're going to head to that 7:30 candle, and you're going to just grab the high and the low. If you don't know, there's a high and low on the top of your screen right under where it says Kabroda on mine. You'll see an H and an L with the numbers next to them. That's the high and the low there. You can also try double clicking and holding on the second click. That should open up a menu just like this. If it doesn't, no worries. We haven't had it work for everybody on our team. We're still trying to figure out what exactly you got to turn on for that. But you can also go over to your object tree, which this is probably the easiest way to do it. Open up your object tree and then click on data window over here. And that'll open up a box here with the high and the low, as well as open a bunch of other information here. But we're going to just use the high and the low. So we're just going to open that up, hover over our 7:30 candle, and those are our high and low. So we got 103.538 for the high of 7:30 candle. So we'll type that in, 103.538. And then we're going to grab the low as well. So same thing, hover over it, 103.096. 103.096. Boom. And those are the different levels here with our 30-minute candle. Got them all readied up. We'll go ahead and send those in, and that will be basically it for what we have to do for making the battle box. Next, it'll kind of spit some stuff out. We'll get to see kind of the DMR that it creates, see what we want to use it for today. Sometimes it has to think longer than others. You don't have to worry about it. Once it kind of pops up, we should be ready to go. All right. It's even talking to us, telling some of this stuff. Yeah, so it might take a minute or so. We're gonna go check out the charts, I guess, and I'll kind of just keep an eye on it once it gets done. So we'll just do kind of a quick glance here. Looking at the 4 hour, we still are under the 200 and the 21 here. Still more of a bearish sign. We kind of came up and tapped that 21 yesterday, and then really kind of just stayed along it. We haven't really like broke down or anything yet. 1 hour did actually end up breaking down below its 21 yesterday as well. Yeah, broke below its 21, and then we tried to come back through it today, it looks like, and have not been able to. So still bearish on there. 15 is actually still above. At least it's 200. We're kind of fighting along that 21 there. Really running sideways. So that's kind of our line there that we're looking at. And then the 5 minute we're below as well. So more bearish overall, just based off the 2 moving averages that we use most of the time. Typically when you see those under, you're looking for more bear trades. You see it over, like if price action is on top of the 200 and stuff, then it's looking over. If it's under, then we're looking for more of a breakdown. That's just kind of the basics, I guess, of TA, but we are over on the 15, so maybe that will hold us. We'll kind of see. We're going to break down a little bit more price action here. Our recap just came in. So you got some different things. Wow, this is kind of complicated today. Not as... Typically, it will make it a little bit nicer. I'm actually going to ask it to. Can you make this easier to read? All right, here we go. Yeah. Okay, so it kind of just said what I said. So heading to that 4 hour, we're gonna kind of run through what the battle box said, and then I'm gonna do some more in-depth TA than I just did. But for the 4 hour, prices under both the 21 and 200 SMA, short-term bounce, but still in higher time frame downtrend. So we got that breakdown a couple weeks ago below our 200. Then we came up, tried retesting it, ended up breaking down farther. We've tried to retest it once or twice since then, and each time we've broken off of that and continued downwards. Just recently, the last attempt, we actually ended up breaking down off of that, broke below our 21, retested here, and then it broke down even farther. We still are in that downtrend. We saw a little bit of a pullback the other day, but that is actually more of another down flag here. So pulling the pull for that down flag, we're looking for something like 93, 93.5 or so level. That's kind of the target just off of this flag. It is a bearish flag. Typically these break out 65% of the time or so. When they do actually reverse, though, they do like really reverse when they reverse. So if we did see this price action break out of that flag to the upside, we would see it take off to the upside as well. But we did see a little bit of a breakdown here. So we'll see if we ended up actually breaking down or possibly making a different kind of flag, maybe more of a sideways type flag here forming. But we'll see as price action kind of continues to play out. Moving down to the MACD, we were starting to get a little bit of we got a flip to the upside here, and we got four candles. Typically you see about 8 before you see that flip to the other side. But we only got 4, and then we saw that flip to the downside here. We haven't downside flipped, I guess. We're seeing some loss in some of that momentum here on the green candle, so looking for more of a downtrend here. We weren't able to break that 21 So there is some resistance above us, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on these too. So those are our levels for today. You can see we weren't able to break above the top, and now we're kind of breaking down into the middle range / breaking down to the bottom. Here on the RSI, we actually are more oversold than you would think, especially for this kind of price action. So looking for a possible move to the upside, I guess, technically based off the RSI. The one thing to note, though, is a lot of times there is a pattern that kind of forms here before we see a reversal. And when this pattern kind of forms, you see like a downtrend, right? And then we get a low and bounce up, see some resistance and bounce back down. And then we actually create a lower low. Whoops, my bad. So come down, break up, and then we see a lower low and then a bounce up. And whenever you see this lower low like that on the RSI, you'll see a move kind of like this, like bounce down there, and then we'll see a bounce like that, which means there's some divergence on this RSI. So you got a downtrend here in the chart, if this plays out like that, and then you got an uptrend here in the RSI, which is divergence, which is basically just whenever the RSI or any indicator really, but RSI is typically what we use for divergence, is different than what price action is. So you can see like higher low and then a lower low here on price, and then on the RSI you got a lower low and then a higher low. So just kind of the opposite. Typically though, when you see that, you'll see a reversal here, start going up pretty strongly. Not that it has to happen for us to reverse, but it is a pattern, good indicator for seeing that. So that's a possibility coming in here. Stoches are overbought. Looking for more downside. Stoches, though, like I said earlier, are not the greatest for these longer time frames, like the 4 hour. So it's not something I'd be super worried about or even looking at really. More or less, you're looking at that MACD and the RSI. MACD shows we could get some downside here. RSI looks like we probably could get some upside, but like I said, I could also see that pattern forming, getting a downside, a little more drop here. Will we go to 90? What was it? 93.5? Possibly. We'll have to kind of see. That's a pretty low target. More than likely, we won't break this by a ton. Quick side note too, we did actually end up filling that candle from that crazy Friday a while ago. I was talking about filling it on the live, I believe, like somewhere around here, and we've been waiting forever, but we finally just filled it Tuesday, I guess. I wasn't really paying attention, but we did fill it on Tuesday, so that's good. That means we've satisfied the chart, I guess. I don't know why, but whenever we see wicks like this, something like this, you typically see the chart come back and refill them. Kind of like, yeah, price action just eventually fills up that wick. Yeah, that's kind of it for the 4 hour. So we'll move on to that 1 hour here. On the 1 hour, sitting below a tight cluster of moving averages, sellers are still in control. That's what the battle box says. Let's see what we say. So we got that flip of the 21 here yesterday on Wednesday, and then we continue to break up. Saw some resistance here at 104.2, kind of where we were kind of seeing some resistance here the other day. Saw some resistance there, broke back down, and now we're kind of sitting around 102.7. We actually went back through the 21 here, and you can see we're starting to get that curl of the 21 to the downside. So that is a somewhat bearish sign. Looking for more downside possible here. On MACD, we did get 5 candles to the downside, and we're starting to see some loss in that momentum there. Right now, we're kind of just sideways. There's not a lot to tell really by that MACD price action there. So possible downside, possible upside, hasn't really said. We are more on the bearish side, I guess, here on the MACD, but it could go either way. That indicator is kind of neutral right now. RSI is above, well, right after 50, looking for the downside. The slow moving average, the yellow one, is looking for more downside. So you haven't seen any kind of curl or flattening, so that's still a pretty bearish sign here on the RSI. And then stochages are at the bottom looking for that upside. Again, 1 hour too long, so stochages aren't super applicable here. Moving on to the 15. Okay. So the battle box says that the 15 is more neutral with price between the 21 and 200 SMAs. Mixed signals, expect some chop. And that's exactly what we've got so far today. On the 15, we're kind of making this very big pattern, something like this, of price action. And that would actually technically take us up. Will we get that? I don't know. This is a pretty big pattern, really, for the up move that we got. I would say that's probably not very likely, just based off of how large that pattern is. Right now, though, we are sitting on that 200, so we're looking for that break. Honestly, that kind of lines up with our 24-hour volume area low here, which is kind of the line in the sand, I guess, today. That's kind of what we're looking for, that break here and retest of as our typical system, 15-minute, 250-minute closes below the 224 here, and then a retest on the 5. That's where we'll jump in, take that trade down. That's kind of the line in the sand, like I said, that we're looking for the break of today. MACD is showing that we're losing some of that bullish momentum, looking for more of the bear side, looking for that drop down. RSI is actually kind of sideways, almost up right now. So we'll see if we get that flip to the bear side, flip it downwards. As of right now, that one's also kind of neutral there. So we're not looking really either way. Stochages, which do matter on the 15, as that's kind of more of the stochages kind of time frame here, are looking for that downside here. So overall, 15 kind of really neutral as of right now. Neutral bearish, I would say. So we are looking for more of that downside, kind of like the rest of the time frames. Not to say that everything couldn't flip for the upside, but yeah, as of right now, we're still looking for a little bit more of that downside right now. Heading to that 5. On the 5-minute, it's same thing. We got downside here as well. The battle box says that we rejected the 200 SMA with a short MA rolling down, or the shorter MAs are rolling down. Stochages are cooling from overbought. So we came up, retested that 200 here, broke down. That's what the battle box was kind of talking about here. We broke through our 21 as well and continued downwards. Right now we are retesting that volume area low. Same thing as the other term frames, I guess. Here on the MACD, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars. Typically you see about 8, like I just said earlier. So we're looking for at least 2 more bars before we see some loss in momentum. Could continue longer, sometimes it's shorter. You don't always get 8, don't always get 14, or even don't always get 2, 8's just kind of the average number that we see on here. So looking for a couple more bars maybe before we flip. Could flip here, but more than likely looking for some more downside here. RSI just flipped to the downside, so we were above 50. Still are above 50, I guess, in that overbought zone. We're flipping here and looking for some downside. You can see the slower moving average actually curled, and we're looking for some decent downside here. So that is pretty bearish. RSI, or Stochages RSI. Stochages are at the bottom here, looking for somewhat of an up move. So the thing with Stochages is that they could stay down here, so we'll kind of see how it plays out, but we could also get somewhat of a pullback here, which would kind of help with the MACD kind of setting some of that loss in momentum a little bit, and then a breakdown even farther. we'll have to kind of watch the charts and see what's going on with that. We're getting our breakdown below our line in the sand right now. See if we can get to 2 15-minute closes here. All right, we'll go ahead and build the battle plan out for today, and then that'll kind of be it for today. We'll kind of just watch the charts, see if we get that 15-minute closes below the volume area low here, and get that breakdown. So the battle plan is kind of just what's kind of going on for today. You can kind of use it for to help you kind of like decide on what you want to kind of watch for. Again, not financial advice, it's all for educational purposes, but you kind of use it to check out what kind of trades you want to look at for today. Let's make a battle plan. So it's a real nice tool for that kind of thing, especially if you're not sure like what to look at. You can actually ask it for a teachable battle plan too, and that'll kind of give you some more information on just like what it's talking about here with all the lines, and it'll even explain some of the trades a little bit more. So it's looking like we're looking for that short play here, like I was talking about earlier. Not too much different. Yeah, really not. I kind of went over it already. So if you are interested in reading some more of this stuff, go ahead and make your own. Check it out. There's a link in the description if you want to use our battle box. It'll all be on here. So just real simple, really easy. Check it out. It's all free, completely free to use. So yeah, hopefully you all are staying safe out there. Make sure you use our battle box if you're interested. And if you'd like to learn how to trade, go ahead, ask it a question, ask us questions, comment on the stream, comment on our videos. Anywhere, we'll try to get back to you, like I said. Other than that, happy trading to you today, y'all, and we will catch y'all next Tuesday at 8. Thank you all for watching.